For weeks, we've been covering the Trump administration's efforts to take apart science at the USDA by telling the scientists at that agency they need to up and move to Missouri with their families right now or they'll all be fired. Dozens of high-level scientists working as career civil servants at that agency were told they had a grand total of 1 month to decide whether they would move halfway across the country in order to keep their jobs. The government doesn't even have an office for them to move to in Kansas City. But for whatever reason, the Trump administration says this move has to happen right now, no extensions, no exceptions. 2/3 of the USDA scientists affected by this decision are already known to be accepting termination rather than taking the move to avoid the forced uprooting of their lives and their families by the federal government. One USDA employee who was told to move or be fired is someone who is currently undergoing chemotherapy. Another is receiving treatment for multiple sclerosis. We learned this week that both of those scientists asked for an extension from the government for more time to decide whether or not they could feasibly make this move across the country on short notice without compromising these sensitive matters involving their health. Neither of those requests for an extension was approved by USDA. Democratic members of Congress this week wrote to Trump's Agriculture Secretary Sonny Perdue to make sure he knew about the hardships some of his employees are facing in the wake of his decision, his mandate. Quote, they now face the unconscionable decision of having to choose between insurance benefits or relocate to an entirely new city and attempt to find a team of specialist physicians to provide treatment. These members of Congress are asking for more information about how many USDA employees have asked for hardship extensions and how many of them have not been approved. Congress is saying they want these answers by Monday, as in Monday, this upcoming Monday. Joining us now is the member of Congress whose signature is first on that letter, Congresswoman Jennifer Wexton from Virginia. Ma'am, thank you very much for being here tonight. It's nice to have you here.
Thank you, Rachel. It's great to be here.
So let me ask about how you and your committee came into contact with these employees that you mentioned in your letter who requested these hardship extensions from USDA due to their health. How did you come into contact with them? How many people do you think might be in this kind of circumstance?
Well, they've been contacting us about, the issues that they're facing as they're trying to make these incredibly difficult decisions on such a short timeline. So they've been contacting us. There's a total of 544 employees who are going to be moving. We don't know what we don't know right now unless they've affirmatively reached out to us. And that's one of the reasons that we felt it was necessary to write to Secretary Perdue and ask that he disclose to us how many have requested such extensions and what the grounds are for determining if they're going to grant an extension, how many have been granted, what the grounds were for those. We just don't have any information at this time.
As you say, this is more than 500 people who have been given this ultimatum. And a number of the scientists who we've been in contact with, lots of veterans of the agency, have said publicly that what they think is going on here is that the Trump administration is basically torpedoing the ability of this agency to do the kind of scientific work that they are renowned for. This seems to be targeted at the sort of science core of USDA. Do you have any insight as to why the administration is doing this, or are you in agreement with people who suspect that might be the reason?
Well, they've said that they want to move these agencies out to Missouri, to St. Louis, to be closer to the farming interests out there. Rather than being in Washington, D.C. I question the veracity of that, both given this administration's history of pretextual reasons for the things that it's doing. And also, where it's located now between the D.C. metro area. I'm from Virginia. Virginia is our number one industry is agriculture. Same goes for Maryland. In Missouri, it doesn't even make the top 4. So I certainly question that. I think the much more likely explanation is that these agencies have created research and scientific and economic research which directly conflicts with this administration's political goals.
Briefly, if you don't get the answer that you're looking for from this letter that you and your colleagues have sent, if you can't get the information that you were looking for, is there discussion on your committee of potential subpoenas or potential investigation into this decision? Obviously, if you're concerned that this might be pretextual, that they might be lying about why they're doing this and what their real intentions are, is that potentially going to be a matter of congressional investigation?
Absolutely. This is something that over which it's entirely appropriate for us to conduct oversight. We in the House of Representatives have also passed 2 appropriations bills which prohibit the Agricultural Department from using money in order to implement this move. So I hope that makes it into the final spending bill, but I am still hopeful that Secretary Perdue will provide the responses we requested by Monday.
Congresswoman Jennifer Wexton of Virginia, thanks for joining us tonight. I'm stuck on this issue. I am not getting over it, and I hope you'll keep us surprised as you learn more.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for drawing attention to it. It is a huge issue that's really pervasive and problematic, and is going to have very bad ramifications for a lot of folks if it's allowed to go through.
I believe you. I believe you. Thank you. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
All right, much more ahead tonight. Stay with us.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.